Hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tube, or, well, no, welcome, because this is the very first ever DC Stargirl episode review. I hope all of you are doing well in your life. I hope all of you are doing fine. And thank you for choosing me to be your review guide in this, hopefully the beginning of a long-running series. Hopefully, I don't know, DC Universe. Can't tell. You got renewals like Titans and Doom Patrol, but then you got cancellations like Swamp Thing, so you never really know what they're going to do next. But anyway, so here we are, start of a brand new journey, a new hero in the DC Universe, the larger one, especially now in the larger Arrowverse multiverse. It's still crazy the fact that, you know, after Crisis, technically this is canon in the larger Arrow multiverse, but will we ever see these characters pop into like the Flash or Supergirl? I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a question for future Joe and future entertainment producers to have, not me. But anyway, so here we are, first episode. This is kind of a unique show considering the fact that you have multiple ways to watch it. It's the first streaming / network television show, because I mean technically this was supposed to be truly fully streaming on DC Universe, but I guess because of the newer direction that DC Universe is taking, by having multiple platforms with Doom Patrol, for example, its next season is going to be both on DC Universe and HBO Max. So, with that being said, however, Stargirl making the interesting side move. It's not a full move, but a side move to having its episodes able to be watched on the CW, basically for free. Because if you really think about it, the CW basically is kind of like that free network, because you can literally go on CW.com or the CW app for free, and you can literally binge the episodes as you want. Now from the whole season, starting from no more 5-episode restrictions. You can watch the whole season. So basically, Stargirl, in a matter of speaking, is for free. I mean, I'm pretty sure somewhere down the line, someone is paying for it. You know, they are getting some sort of money on it. I don't know how much, but anyway, with that being said, however, Stargirl, episode 1, how do I feel about it? Again, if you're very new, my name is Joe. I've reviewed many shows on this show. So, I've reviewed many television shows on my YouTube show. I have reviewed The Rookie. I've reviewed High School Musical, the musical, the series. I have reviewed Nancy Drew. I have reviewed... I forgot the other one I did, but I've reviewed a good amount of shows by this point, so if you're questioning my expertise, as well as I've been wanting to get into the superhero genre. I've been so immersed in superheroes since I was a kid that I knew eventually at some point on What's in the Tube I was going to review a proper superhero show, and here we are. I was debating a couple other projects before I settled on this one, but Stargirl, it kind of made sense because she's beginning her journey, and I'm beginning my journey into reviewing superhero-ness, and I get to finally make proper superhero connections and, you know, references. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be hopefully a fun run. The next 3 months, hopefully, which will not be flying by so fast, hopefully, we'll be enjoying. So hopefully, let's go. So episode 1, I really enjoyed it. I really digged it. Again, despite, me having mentioned, I've watched so many shows from the superhero sphere since 2002. It's always a breath of fresh air sometimes when you get something a little bit different and a little bit new. Because again, with the current state of, you know, now back in the day it was only like the A-listers that get their own movies, maybe a TV show, maybe. Now it's like any character, any team, anything in comic books could get their own show, their own movie, whatever medium, live action medium by this point. It's possible. It's plausible. It's able to do it. And Stargirl, I have honestly not heard a single thing about it besides the DC's Legends of Tomorrow handling it on their first couple seasons. That was the only reference I remember of the character. And then I think Smallville did something with that character too, but I haven't gotten to that point in Smallville, so I have no expertise. I only know Stargirl from Legends of Tomorrow, and that was even a very brief aside before they moved on to the more wackier stuff that they're tackling on right now. So to come back on Stargirl, I honestly had no real prior knowledge on the character, so I'm going to the series fresh, which is a good thing because the showrunner and the EP and the creator Jeff Johns, and also if George was on here, he'd probably be having a major nerd out session, probably giving me the 101 about Jeff Johns, how important and vital he is to the current DC Comics and all of his runs that he has done so far, and the fact that he actually created Stargirl as a character for DC Comics. So This character is all Jeff Johns' baby, and he's the one who created the show. Not an outside EP, not an outside developer. No, this is entirely Jeff Johns' work. And here's the thing. Again, another thing you should know about me. I barely read the comics. The only two comics I was ever interested... Well, the only three comics I've ever been interested in is the Ultimate Spider-Man run, the Superman Bendis run, which I had to stop because... Not because it's bad or anything, because I'm really lazy about picking up comic books. And also the Tom King Batman run. So, there you go. There's my very vague comic book history that I'm currently available to have. So... I've never read any of Jeff Johns' work. I know him as a producer. I know him as a creator. That's all I know him as. And I think he's a nice dude. But I never really get to associate with his work. But still, either way, I'm not going to let that take away anything from this experience. And the fact that he also wrote this first episode. So, it was a really good one. Again, whenever superhero properties, it's not that common anymore to have, like, teenagers become superhero. It's not that common to have certain elements. But it also speaks to what I said before. It's like, if the story could be as generic or could be just as samey, it's just that one element, the one character, and also the people who are bringing these roles to life that can make the difference in these shows. And I do believe the cast of Stargirl, they are putting their all into their roles. This is definitely not, like... Again, I say this very lightly. This isn't your typical, like, era CW TV show where they're a little bit more on... I'm not trying to say that all the acting's bad. I'm not trying to say that at all. But I am saying, like, some of their performances are a little bit too, like... I don't even know the word for it. But basically, like, this is actually, like... We're in a very weird in-between quality with the show where we are getting more... This is a little bit beyond regular primetime TV, but this is a little bit lesser than something you see in film. And when I've been reading in interviews that that was the point for the show, is that it's meant to be in that in between where it can cross over with the Arrowverse shows or maybe the other DC Universe shows if they ever get that far, or maybe they could potentially cross them into movies, which I don't believe, because I'm going to be completely honest with you. And this is the last thing before we get to the next segment. When Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is ironically wrapping up its last season next week, when that started, they always talked about in the interviews and the premieres and, like, all the blogs, it's like, oh, maybe someday we'll get to do a movie about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We'll get to be in the movies. And it's like, I honestly don't believe that shit anymore. Like, if it happens, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, obviously last January's Crisis crossover with The Flash from DCEU, spoilers, that was like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. I want this level. But then as I got older and I started to realize that, yeah, the logistics of that happening is so freaking far off, because you gotta deal with a major movie star's salary, getting all the resources from that series in there. It's a lot of work. So I understand why it's more easier to just say it, just imply, like, it's possible, but it might not happen. And I understand that wholeheartedly. I would love to see Stargirl team up with the Flash. Not from the DCU, from the CW show. I would love to see that happen. I feel like those two would make a great pair. Or even Supergirl, something like that down the line. But it's all cool. The fact they said, like, it's open to anything. I think it just depends on how the show performs overall before we even start having those conversations. And hopefully we'll be able to have those conversations together. But anyway, so let's get down to it. Let's go through, if you don't know, the Butchered Recap, which is me pretty much going through the episode. I'm most likely going to forget names. I'm most likely going to say something wrong. So please, bear with me. This is why I recommend you watch the episode before you watch my review. Because guess what? I'm going to miss some details. I'm going to miss some stuff because my memory ain't the best. I'm doing my best. And that was not a purposeful ride. And I got to drink some tea because I drank some Colombian food. Oh, magic tea, do your stuff. Anyway, so we begin with a very weird way to start up a TV show. It's opening on the Golden Age of Heroes, which is obviously a reference to the Golden Age of comic books, from specifically in the olden days of comic books when they used to be 5 cents each. We see this man. I don't remember his name, the actor. I know his name, but we don't get that introduction yet. We see him driving. He's talking to someone on a phone when phones were apparently a thing in cars, or I'm not sure he was talking on a very old cell phone. I'm not sure. They don't talk about what year it is yet. It's 10 years ago. But if I have to base it's present day shit, then it's 2010. We see this guy. He's running. He's talking to someone on the phone, which sounds a lot like Joe McHale. If you don't know who Joe McHale is, well, I don't know either because I barely know the guy. But I recognize his voice. So he's saying like, "Don't come here. Don't come to the mansion. It's overrun. You gotta get the hell out of here." But the guy's not listening to him. He drives up to the mansion. He sees some explosion going around. He sees Wildcat fall out. And one thing before I get to the rest of this is that I want to give them respect to the production design and the costume design to like giving these costumes. They don't have to feel modern, but these are very much classic comic book outfits in current day, and it works. So brief comment aside, he goes into the mansion. He sees other heroes fighting these villains. But he sees one by one them falling and dying, and he is just very chill about that. He's not like being over dramatic. He's not overacting. He's just seeing all this happen, and he's just in complete shock. So, loving that direction. Then we see Starman, played by Joe McHale. I don't know if Starman ever had like a cowl. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not into the comics, and anyway, he seems to be doing very well against the villains. He actually took 2 of them on. And then after that, he gets spotted by most likely the big bad of this entire villain squad, which is called Brainwave. So he and Brainwave engage in a very cool VFX. Like his staff is hitting his mind projections, his mind barriers. It's cool. It's awesome. However, while Starman is being a little bit distracted by his sidekick being there, the guy that was in the car. This shard, I don't know if it was glass or rubble, I'm forgetting what it was now. It hits Starman in the stomach area, the abdominal area, and he falls down on the ground. But then even during then, the sidekick goes to pick up Starman. They manage to escape, and a flying freaking car. There's a flying car. Why has it taken this long for us to get a flying car? I know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. technically have a flying car, but you know what I mean. I have never seen, it has been a long time since I've seen a flying car on TV. I don't know. It's just so cool. But they managed to escape from the villains, which is apparently called the Injustice Society, if that's a play on words for the actual Justice Society of America. I don't know. There's too many Justice Societies to focus on. And so meanwhile, in the car, they're trying to figure out where the hospital is. They're trying to get Starman some help. However, because they've already sustained damage during the attack, the car crashes. But conveniently, the sidekick and Starman survive. And while the sidekick was morally like, okay, we need to get you a hospital. We need to get you some help. Starman's like, nah, this is it for me, man. This is it. I'm gonna go out. But listen, you can't let tonight be in vain. You gotta let the legacy of the Justice Society live on to another generation. You need to go and find the next generation of heroes. He gives him the staff, but immediately the partner's like, "Don't worry, I'll be the next Starman." But it's like, no, oh no, fuck no, you ain't being Starman. You ain't my successor. I need you to find my successor, but you're not. And that's the way. Like he constantly just reminding him, like, there is another hope. There is another spark. There will be another star hero. But you're not it. You are clearly not it. And it's the most funniest shit possible. Because, like, here he is, his dying breath. Instead of like saying to this guy, yo man, you my bro, you've been there for me, I respect you, but nah, I'm not letting you take my mantle. And it's like, oh my god, that probably sounds like something that Luke knew would probably do to me if like he was ever a superhero, but don't tell him I said that. Anyway, so we cut to present day, well not present day, we cut to across the world, or across the country, we cut to California, and we see this young girl holding a Christmas present on a thundery night. And yes, this is California, so it doesn't fucking snow. But it is raining for some reason, so that's weird. She's being dropped off at a home, or she's being left off with a neighbor or her mom is going to work on Christmas Eve. And that is the epitome of like, yeah, your family's not doing so hot if your mom or your father has to work a late shift. So, yeah, so she's on Christmas Eve. So she leaves him. All the kid wants is that it's obviously Courtney, our main heroine. She's telling her mom, I want you. I want my dad. Where is he? And then her mom is like, I don't know. You just be with these guys. You'll be fine. Have a good one. That sort of thing. So and then we see Courtney just looking into the distance just unsure where her life's going to go, and the mom leaving. And then we cut to 10 years later, 2020, where we see it's moving day for Courtney and her mom. Apparently, since the 10-year gap, Courtney's mom found love, got remarried, and now she got a new job offer in her hometown of Blue Valley. I think it's Blue Valley. So they're all moving to Blue Valley. It's time to move. Courtney's obviously not. She's not the least bit happy, obviously, because like here she is, a teenager in the prime of her life, having found her clique, having found her friends, her life here in California, and then she's got to move. She's got to move to this new place, this small town, with her mom, this new stepdad, which she clearly does not like, and this brother, who clearly is just there just to get some laughs. He's the comedic relief. I'm just being completely honest with you on that. She has a hug with her I think her best friend, and again, it's bittersweet. Well, also meanwhile, while she's packing up her things, and we're getting this very brief overview on her California life before we say goodbye to that, which is it's a nice little touch. I mean, if they just like constantly mention like, oh, I did this, oh, I did that, just having the pictures, having like the medals showcasing like she's into gymnastics, she had a lot of friends, she has this good life here. It kind of gives you like a very brief understanding instead of like getting flashbacks galore where we see Courtney going through life. It's so much better. It's so much simpler, in my opinion. But while she's cleaning up, she finds the Christmas present that her dad gave her on that night 10 years ago. But however, instead of opening it or questioning it, she just throws it in the box when her friend walks in. Meanwhile, the new stepdad and his son, and this guy is the same person from from 10 years ago, the same guy. Turns out his name is Pat. Pat. Is it short for Patrick? I don't know. They never talk about that. I always like the name Pat. I don't know why, like Patch or Pat. I don't know. Like it's always I don't know. It's a good name for some reason. I really don't know. But clearly, while they're getting ready for this movie, it's clear that these dynamics are like, okay, Courtney's obviously playing her typical teenager, that she's not happy that she's moving. She's giving up her life for her mom. Her mom's like, listen, don't be mad at Pat. Be mad at me. I'm the one who this is my job opportunity. This is my life. We're moving for me. So be mad at me. Don't be mad at Pat. But she's not really buying it. Pat is trying to do his best to be this new stepdad, trying to be a husband, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, that's kind of where we're leaving things off at. So we see the family leaving California. We get a very nice, quiet sort of field trip across America. They arrive in Blue Valley. They get to their new house, and also they have a pit bull, beautiful pit bull. So then they arrive at their new house, which the kid called this is a mansion. Like, kid, this is probably bigger than your last place, but this is clearly not a mansion. This ain't a mansion. So they're all getting settled in. But however, while they're about to start getting into their house, the moving people, they are carrying this very heavy, sensitive crate, clearly meant for like a very long height object. Pat tells her, hey, listen, look, I got this, man. It's very fragile. I got this. Don't worry about it. But instead of, he immediately says, like, hey, let's go. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to move this to the house myself. And then he just turns around and is like, who wants to get some food? It's like, can you at least finish moving the staff into your house first? Because this is clearly in the middle of the way of the moving people. So they're going to move this regardless of you. So, I don't know. Anyway, we see them going to town. We're seeing this example of them getting acquainted and adjusted to this new small town life where everyone's friendly, everyone's nice to each other, and it's like, for me, wow, this is freaking weird because I am so not used to this. In New York, we're always moving. We're not talking to anyone. I mean, we only talk to people if we like them, but other than that, like, we ain't talking to complete strangers. We get a brief aside of how Courtney's mom and Pat met 2 years ago when her mom, Courtney's grandma, died when she was still in the house here. And they met, they fell in love. The whole yada yada love story. Then we cut to the next day. We cut to that night where Courtney's already unpacking her stuff, and she's just looking out in the sky, just kind of unsure where life's going to take her next. And then we see the stars kind of form a staff symbol, sort of, or a staff alignment. Then the next day, Pat drops her up at school, but she's, again, still not trying. She's not having it with Pat. She doesn't like Pat. She's not a fan of the Pat. Of course, she has the typical, new girl first day thing. She's getting a rude awakening. The gymnastic club she was hoping to join as soon as she got there. That was canceled last year. and she's not really acquainted to this new life yet. She's not really acquainted yet. And then we get to the typical the lunchroom cafeteria scene where she's just trying to find a seat in this very harassed array of, already established dynamics, already established friendship groups. So she's having some difficulties here. And then she's just rudely pointed towards, hey, listen, there's a seat over there in the losers table. It's like, wow, you guys don't even give a fuck about this girl. Like, she could be like the most popular girl in the world, or like maybe the most. She could be a social media tycoon, and then you're like, no, you're going to sit with the losers. So she goes to sit with them. Only one of them, I think her name's Beth, greets her. The other two is like, nope, not doing this. So Courtney sits down with them, tries to make some small talk with them, but Beth kind of tells her, oh, hey, listen, we're not friends here. Like, the three of us aren't friends. We just sit here because we're the single people. We're people that don't have a clique. We don't have a group. We don't have any sort of, like, friendship circle or anything. We're on our own here. And she clearly says losers, and then, the guy, because there was another guy and another girl, he gets insulted by this, like, speak for yourself. He leaves, steals a box of candies, and just leaves the cafeteria. Clearly this security system here is kind of crooked here, because in the next moment, the jocks come up the other girl across from Courtney, and starts calling her a slut. Like, oh, now I want to hear this backstory. I'm like, what's the backstory on these kids? I'm pretty sure most likely we're going to get some backstory on these kids. No offense. If we're already getting first name basis with them and we're getting emphasis on them, we're going to see their backstories at some point in the season. It's obvious. And Courtney, trying to be the person she is, steps up for her. Hey, listen, stop. Don't insult her. Shut up. But the jock takes her phone away. And then Courtney, again, showing how badass she is. She actually pushes him and either pushes him or punches him, the jock, and it hits a cafeteria lady who spills spaghetti or tacos. Like, I don't know what the hell she was holding. It was something yellow, but it didn't look like something normal. But anyway, so the jock clearly gets pushed away. The cafeteria lady drops all the food, which I don't know why she's even walking with a very full plate of food in the middle of a busy cafeteria. Like, who does that? Who does that? And then Courtney gets caught by one of the guidance counselors. She gets pulled away. Like, so this is high school logic that I've never understood even after graduating from college, even like 5 years removed from that. Clearly these jocks are bullying another girl, calling her a slut. And then instead of, I obviously know violence is never the answer. I obviously know that in school. Never do violence. But you're clearly punishing the girl who's trying to help the other girl from being insulted and giving the jock a pass. Never understood that. But we cut to that night. Also, Pat apparently bought an auto body shop while he's in town. Well, when he's back in town, he meets this bodybuilder who owns the gym across the street. Too much focus on this character. I don't know if he's like, I don't know. Like there's something more to this guy than he's leading on. So anyway, then we cut to that night. We see, and also Courtney's mom also starts her new job at the city hall, and she's very happy. This is a much better job than when she was a waitress at a diner. So she's definitely moved up in the world. So we get to see pretty much every single member of the family kind of returning back home, talking about their new great lives, and but Courtney's sadly not. Is the only one not being able to properly find her new life here in town, even after the first day. Courtney being a little bit more not having it tonight, goes off a little bit on Pat, storms out of dinner. It seems like everyone's just leaving dinner. No one wants to eat dinner anymore. Courtney, having enough of it, she decides to go to the basement, trying to clear her mind, get away from everyone. She's looking for some photos. Pat, calling him a loser. Even in private, she's still calling him a loser. But then she finds this very weird picture that doesn't really have anything to do with Pat, but it turns out to be an old photo of the Justice Society of America. Now, first of all, this is a freaking cool shot because we get to see so many, I think an accurate recreation of what the Justice Society of America could have been like by that time period. We also get to see Jay Garrett as the Flash. Not, sadly, John Wesley Shipp's version of the Flash, a different actor, but it's also very obscurely covered, or here's the other thing I have a problem with this photo. It's like, this photo could have easily been taken in the 1960s or 70s or something, because the quality's not the best. It's only very... You can see the main character, like, you can see Joe McHale, but you can't see anyone else's face. It's like, I understand they didn't want to cast, or like they just were trying to keep things a little bit open in case at some point down the line they could get like a better actor instead of putting in some fill-in actors. I don't know what the plan was, but this photo quality, while the photo was amazing, the quality was very like up to debatable. And then we get to another picture she finds, which turns out to be Joe McHale with Pat. Turns out Pat was a psychic, and now, and then Courtney also finds Starman's suit in the in this chest, and so she's very confused by it. And then she looks at the other crate, which Pat was more protective of. She opens it up. It turns out to be the staff, the cosmic staff. Now, what is the cosmic staff per se? Well, let's be completely honest. Stargirl's probably going to have his own explanation about this later on in the show, and then later on we'll see what the staff actually entails. Courtney sees that the staff is glowing. It's actually connecting with her. It's being more sentient, and eventually it just gets this strong pull from to Courtney. So it's pulling her away from the house. It leads her into some flying. Well, no, not flying. She does some acrobatic stuff with the staff, indicating this is not like really a weapon or a tool. It's a partner, so to speak. And it's also, again, another way to show off Courtney's acrobatic abilities and seeing what she's been doing in the past 10 years. So it was a really cool like character development scene and bonding scene with Courtney and the staff. And from then we get to so eventually the staff does pull Courtney away. They start flying towards the they also mentioned a drive-in movie theater, which ironically I was talking about a couple days ago with a friend. And they arrive there. They see the jocks from before targeting some other high schoolers that are also seeing the movie, kind of like tormenting them and bullying them. Courtney, to try and get some payback on it, plus she's got this freaking magic staff now. She decides to, you know what, I'm gonna screw these bullies over. I'm gonna go and cut their tires with this very pointy staff. But she gets discovered by the one of the jocks, and the three of them try to take on Courtney. Spoilers, they all get their asses kicked. But Courtney, still not knowing how to use the staff, accidentally fires a blast shot at one of their cars, and, she escapes. And the guy's like, oh, fuck, my dad's gonna kill me. Then we see... so then eventually they head back. She runs into Pat. She's asking Pat all these questions, like, what is the staff? How do you have these pictures? Like, what's your connection to these guys? And Pat, instead of just, like, playing the typical, like, oh, I'm not going to tell you because you don't need to know, or this is just, there's a simple explanation for this. Like, no, he just plainly points out, okay, well, this is the cosmic staff. This was the weapon of choice for Starman, who was a member of the Justice Society. Courtney says she knew of them when she was a kid, but then she saw that they just disappeared one day, and it's like, no, they died on Christmas Eve 10 years ago trying to save the world. And Joe McHale, who has a name, but I forgot the name already, goddammit. He was Starman, and how their connection started was that when he was 15 years old and he was 20, when Pat was 20, he was tired about some I don't know how it was, like he attacked some crooks as Star Spangled Man. So, and the psychic name was Stripey because stripes on the Star Spangled flag. I think that's how it works. So that's why his original psychic name was Stripey. But then when he got the cosmic staff, he rebranded himself as Starman. And since nothing really changed with Pat, he just kept the name. So yeah, that's how it worked. And then once he became Starman, he joined the Justice Society of America. They've done some pretty cool shit together. Then they died on the Christmas Eve 10 years ago. And then Courtney's sister is getting a very obvious but also questioning outcome of this entire scenario, where 10 years ago she didn't get to see her dad just vanished from her life again, and also Starman died that night. So, and the cosmic staff is working for her. It could be plausible that Starman is her father, but of course the names aren't adding up. It could be just he had another alter ego or a secret identity on top of his secret identity. Who knows? They haven't been able to find out, but Courtney wanted to figure this out right now. She goes to her mom, blatantly asks her, was my dad a superhero? And Courtney's mom giving her the very PG-13 answer. She's like, no, your dad was just not around. He was nothing. He came around once a year, but until you were 5, i.e. 10 years ago, he would just not show. He just would show up once in a while, and then he, dipped for a year. Then after that, he just disappeared. And he said and then her mom said the only man who was ever there for her was Pat. So it's Pat's turn. Pat's the one. So please understand that your father is not really a superhero. So basically, yeah. So that's how Courtney perceives it. But the thing that kind of sticks out more of her head was that Pat has always been there for her mom and in turn her when they didn't have anyone else. So Courtney decides, you know what, I'm going to shut the hell up. I'm going to leave it be. And then we cut to later that night. No, we cut to another house across the way. It's one of the jock's house, one of the bully's house. He's telling his father that, hey, listen, the car blew up, and the father's not really caring about the car. He's caring about who had the staff, who used the staff, how many were there. And he was kind of like asking these very weird questions that a dad shouldn't be asking because of this. And then, he lets him go, and then he locks the door. It turns out he's actually brainwaved. This is the same guy who attacked the Justice Society 10 years ago. So he's still in town. He's been living there. And now that the staff's reemerged, he decides to don his old suit again. And so later that night, Courtney's mom goes up to see her in her room. So Courtney has a talk with Pat about everything going on, just having a little bit of a bonding moment. And then Courtney says, hey, listen, I won't tell anything about the Justice Society, you being a superhero starman or anything. I won't tell her anything, but you just gotta let me do my own thing. And Pat's like, wait, what the hell you mean? You barely have a license. What the hell you mean I'm gonna let you do your own thing? But Courtney just leaves to head off to bed. And later that night, Courtney and her mom have a talk about, the mom's apologizing for some of the things she said about her dad. But then Courtney's like, don't worry, it's fine. Listen, about Pat, I'm gonna focus on making our relationship better. So it's a new start for us. So, however, Courtney's more distracted by the staff, who just suddenly reawakens again and pulls her out to town. And the two of them has a very interesting training session where Courtney's just trying to use the staff and all of its abilities and properties. Even actually sitting on it like a surfboard or a skateboarder. She's riding it pretty much. Meanwhile, Brainwave's at the movie theater, the drive-in theater, trying to find some clue about the staff and everything. But he manages to sense the staff and Courtney. So he just sends random tires up in the air and actually hits Courtney. But Courtney manages to fall onto some tires, but also the staff manages to kind of slow down her fall. But however, it's not enough because Brainwave is attacking Courtney with a lot of kinetic energy, I don't know, telepathic pulls, I don't know. So she heads into this tire shop, ironically, and then she finds Brainwave. Brainwave wants some answers. She's got the answers. She's trying to read her mind. I'm yawning. I'm sorry about yawning. That's very unprofessional. It's not even 5 o'clock yet where I live, and I'm already yawning. So anyway, Brainwave's about to start extracting the memory from Courtney's head, but Courtney uses the staff to kind of, attack him. She does some acrobatic abilities with the staff to try and, avoid his attacks. She blasts him with a shot, supposedly burning him up, and then she runs away, trying to get some help. And then, not that far away from the tire shop, she gets stopped by this, not that big, but a very Iron Giant-looking mother robot. Turns out to be Pat in the suit. So Pat has a robotic suit that rivals Ironmonger. So, so that's kind of where we end off episode 1. We just see Courtney with the staff bleeding from her forehead, just seeing her stepdad in a robotic suit. So not a pretty bad way to end off the first episode. But again, I really enjoyed this episode. I think it's a solid premiere. Definitely kind of, doesn't follow your traditional nowadays superhero origin shows. It is trying to very much do its own thing. It's more of like a passing the torch show than like a full new superhero type thing, which I really respect. The cast is doing a phenomenal job. Actually not phenomenal, like a really good job in their roles. But Becca Bassinger, who plays Courtney, she really sold it. She's making this character her own, and it's awesome. It's a very cool thing, and I'm loving what the story is. There's a lot we don't know. Like, how long has this Justice Society operated for? What's more to Starman than meets the eye? How will Courtney become Stargirl? How's Pat going to realize that there's going to be a new generation of heroes now? So there's so many questions to have, and I can't wait to see how the next few weeks, next few months will answer those questions as we start to see the story unfold. And I'm very interested about it. I'm very interested, so I can't wait for it. So for me, it's a 2 thumbs up. Go watch it if you haven't. And yeah, it's a really good one, and I really hope this is the start of a beautiful new series for DC Universe, and also the larger Arrowverse multiverse. Anywho, and that's gonna do it for me, guys. So if you were unaware of this, what's on the tube from ActionX. If you want to know what else we do overall on the What's in the Tube spectrum, it's kind of a weird time to talk about this since most of our last run of shows just ended, so we're kind of in this new territory. Right now, we're just wrapping up the Rookie and Katie Clean stuff, we're usually on our Saturday and our Monday time slots on What's on the Tube. But if you only care about DC Stargirl, you can catch a brand new episode review here on the channel, usually on Thursdays. We were a little bit delayed on this one because I kind of got a little bit distracted. After a brand new episode aired on DC Universe, the app, on Mondays. And also you can catch it for free or somehow on the CW on Tuesday nights. So you have no choice but to watch Stargirl because it's available and it's pretty much all accessible. So go watch it, then come here for my episode review. I apologize for the hair. I apologize for the light source. It's not working for me. I'm not really having a good looking day, but I'm doing the best I can. Anywho, but again, if you're unaware, this was What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more of us, please subscribe to ActionX on YouTube. Like, favorite, share if you want to. It really helps us out, get us out there. Follow us on social media, as well as ring the bell for notifications when we have a new review live. And yeah, that's going to do it for me again. Again, thank you guys so much for watching our first episode review for Stargirl. We hope we will always be back next week with another episode review, so stay tuned for that. So for you Stargazers, that's my new term for you guys, Stargazers. I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.